collecting money from your clients. Now, first thing you should do is to generate finance charges on all open invoices. Go to Receivables, Finance Charges, and generate finance charges. And then without selecting any parameters, simply click Search. Now this will pull up every single open invoice in the system for those clients that have a finance charge entered in the firm profile, and it'll list all those invoices, and it'll show you the current balance, the last time you generated finance charge, the date and amount of the finance charge. Now all those invoices are already selected as default by RB8. All you need to do is simply go to Actions and click Generate. And are you sure? Yes. And this will go ahead and generate finance charges for all your open invoices that was listed in the grid. Now, where do you specify who gets finance charged or not? Well, you will set that up in each firm's profile. So go to Firms, and let's pull up a client here, Young Lee office, and go into the firm, View, and in the Additional tab, there will be a text box that says Finance Charge. Now let's say you decided to start charging finance charges for this client, this firm. So you will simply put in a monthly finance charge figure such as 1.5%. So that'll be a typical finance charge percentage for this particular firm. So doing that will designate this firm as the finance charge firm. And any open invoices that are billed to this firm, Law Offices of Young Lee, will be assessed finance charge when you run the function generate finance charges. Once you generate finance charges, the next thing you should do is print out monthly statements. So go to Receivables. This time we'll go into Monthly Reports, and we'll click the function called Statements. Now the search criteria filters are pretty much set to defaults. Now you notice that the invoice day 2 is actually 30 days prior to today's date. Now what that means is that when I generate monthly statements, which is the summary that lists all the open invoices for each client, I do not want to include current invoices. For example, the invoices that I generated yesterday. Now, you might actually do different things. For example, you might want to include everything on that statement, including invoices that you generated today. Then all you have to do is simply change the invoice date 2, which is called cutoff date, to today's date. So it'll be as current as today. Or if you want to include only those invoices that are at least 30 days old, then you can leave it as the default as 28th. Now with that, simply go ahead and click Search, and this will pull up again, this time every single firm or attorneys, depend on whether the statements are consolidated or not, and it'll show you the total amount that each firm or attorney owes you, and whether a statement will be printed or faxed or emailed. In this case, they're all printed, will be printed, and then you can also set in the firm profile, certain firms do not want to receive a monthly statement. They do not pay from the monthly statement, for example, maybe insurance companies. So I have set them as don't send so that their checkboxes are not there. If you want to preview a particular statement, simply right-click on any statement and go to Preview Statement, and then you can change this to page width. And so this is the statement that lists all open invoices for this client or this attorney, and it also has the similar remittance section in the bottom of the statement. Now you can also change the filter in the search criteria called View option. Right now, Statements Only is selected. You can change that to Both, where you can see not only statement but open invoices that goes with that particular statement. So if you select that, and then let's go back into this one statement in the preview. The first tab that comes up will be the actual statement listing 3 invoices. The next tab right next to it called Open Invoices, and this will be actually showing you the actual invoices that makes up the statement. So that right arrow will simply cycle through the open invoices there. At this point, to print, fax, and email these statements there are all selected, simply right-click and then click the function called Send Statements. Now there are a couple settings that you should be aware of in the firm profile that affects how you print statements. So let's go take a look at that. So if you go into Firms, let's pull up a client, and in the additional tab, first of all, there is a flag checkbox called Consolidate Statement. Now usually the default is blank. That means that we do not consolidate statement. What that means is that this law firm, if we have 5 attorneys, each attorney will get his own statement. So you will be sending them 5 statements for each attorney, listing only their own activities. Now some firm might not like that, even though that's very popular and that's pretty usual. For such as government agency or court or insurance company might want all invoices consolidated to a single statement addressed to such as accounts payable department, for example. If that's the case, you should check this box, consolidate statement. The second thing is that statement type in the drop down, where again default is to print, but if you wanted to select don't send, again this could be applied to court or government agency or insurance company who will not pay from the statement, that you need to send them a detailed invoices again over and over again. Then I'll select the don't send so that I do not waste a lot of paper printing statements. Or you can select email, or if they wanted to receive email statement of a PDF document. Now the last point I want to make about generating finance charges and sending statement is the fact that you should not, like most people, wait until end of the month to send the statements, because by the time your clients receive those statements in the mail, they already pass their payment cycle. So my recommendation is that you start generating finance charges and then sending statements out on the 15th of each month. That way, around the 20th, no later than 22nd of each month, your clients will have the statement sitting on the accounts payable person's desk, and they more likely that you will get into their check cutting cycle of twice a month or once a month. So remember, 15th is when you start collection efforts, not the end of the month.